We are live. There we are. Yeah. Got all the puppers. A little bit hot outside today. I was hoping to go outside and do my thing, but doesn't look like that's going to be working today. Signing on. You beat Botrix. I don't know if he's here yet. He was acting really funky yesterday in somebody else's live stream, so I'm not sure if he'll show up. Well, he's usually here within like 45 seconds, so. Well, at least for the last week, he's been here for in like 40 seconds. But sometimes it takes a few minutes to get here. We did it! We are part of the partner program as soon as they approve. Waiting for the AdSense and then get reviewed. That's exciting. I was hoping it would be more instant than that. Is there options to give super chats now? Is there like a little, the money thing at the bottom? I haven't looked yet as a viewer. Yeah, I don't see him there. There's Botrix. Hey. Yeah, they said it could be 2 to 3 weeks. But it's exciting, and that means that there's good news to tell Dana about the progression of the channel. It's actually going somewhere. I know in the beginning she was like very, is this going anywhere? I don't see it going anywhere. Is it going anywhere? So I'll just keep an eye on that email. I did get an email from them saying AdSense for YouTube account, link to your YouTube channel at Sparkle Pyro was successfully changed. All future payments will be processed through this new account. And then I can view the details, and it brings me back here in the studio. So they're not ready yet. Ooh, postal mail. That's why it takes 2 to 3 weeks. Because somebody at YouTube has to physically do that work, and then we have to rely on our federal system to get it to me. So it's probably about a week for them to get it done and sent out in the mail, and then 2 weeks for it to get to me by mail. That's why they say 2 to 3 weeks. Because I doubt there's somebody putting physical mail together right now and getting to mine today. Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Zelda! Hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. I wanted to be outside today. Dana said she'd send me a couple bucks to put gas in the car, but she didn't. So I'll message her and see if she wants to do that. She said she was going to cash at me a couple bucks, so I could take at least one of these puppers over to the park and roam around. Hello from Turkey? I was hoping for one of these days to be much cooler out. We gotta go gather up the trash and bring it to the dump, but oh, thank you. Kind of understood. Let's see, we got two little lazy pups over here. We got Annie, little turd right there. We got Zuma and Letty. Of course, you're only gonna be able to see their butts because they're hiding. Ooh, and he's got the hedgehog. Got the hedgehog. Get it, girly. Get it. Get that hedgehog. Where's that toy? Get it. Get that toy. Huh? You gonna get that toy? You gonna get that toy? She's like, I got this toy. I'm just gonna guard it. You can tell Aaron's not native Turkish. Everything's written very proper. All the tildes and the umlauts are all there. Like I said before, I played a game where most of the player base on that server were Turkish, so I'm familiar with the way it looks, which is why I could tell that you used Google and she did not. The only two words that I ever really learned in that game were Saldir, Saldir Day, and Idifac. I think Idifac is attack. I think uh, I don't remember what Saldir Day is. And in that game, most of the moderators that would moderate chat were English speaking and didn't have any Turkish background, didn't know how to read or write it. So a lot of times the guys in the game were getting away with damn near anything they wanted because the mods couldn't tell they were saying anything they shouldn't. Yeah, that game was poorly managed, though. Yeah, I used Google Translate a lot. It just didn't work when they were using slang, and they would use slang on purpose. You know, they would intentionally um, remove the space between certain words, or they would cut a word short because it was a familiar slang that they were, familiar with, so it wasn't proper terminology. So you'd get it all messed up coming out of Google, or Google just wouldn't give you an answer. If you put text in Google that's not actually a word, it just spits it back out as the same text you put it in. So that was happening a lot, trying to figure out what those guys were saying on the chat. Hmm. I think Silda's talking about she's got a French bulldog. Cute. That's why there's emojis, right? We just go like this. I love them too, and I'm glad you can appreciate the same love. That's why we're here. I started this channel with the idea that I want to spread the positivity that they offer into my life. Oh, he's number one. Hey, Aaron, I got this lighter the other day from like a pack of 5 at Walmart, and I've already altered it to include the monkey, but I thought it was interesting that on the lighter there was, well, it's a tiger wearing a spacesuit. And when I saw it, I was like, geez, I've seen this lighter before, but it wasn't really, it didn't hit home quite as hard. But we got another Space Nut running Tiny the Tiger. So it's kind of ironic that this tiger would be wearing a spacesuit. Of course, then there's the monkey with the banana phone. Ring, 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 ring. Banana phone. I'm gonna do some kind of art project with all the old lighters that I've got. I've got a whole bunch of Bics like this. Your standard non-adjustable. Don't hold it lit for 30 seconds or more. I'm gonna end up doing some kind of art with them. I don't know what kind of art I want to do yet. I'm thinking maybe a resin project. Something like a lamp base. I think that would be pretty cool. I was also thinking maybe I could drill the bottoms of them out and attach them to a string of lights. And then I would have Bic lights. But I keep collecting them all over the place. I've got collections of dead lighters all over the place. There's like a handful of them in the car, a handful of them in the basement. I got a handful of them in the drawer in the bathroom. Eventually I'll compile them all into one thing and make some art. Yeah, I thought so too. I just need to be able to find a light that's bright enough because it's pretty thick plastic. You know, it's meant to be explosion proof. Yeah, and I've got easily 30 or 40 lighters that are just, you know, they still have the flint, so they'll still spark, but they won't have any fluid in them because they have run out. One thing that I learned is the flint runs out much slower than the fuel does. Those are clippers are the ones you push down, they click, right? I'm a big fan of the old flint and steel. Typically, I use Zippos, but not quite as often. So what I would do for a long time was I'd take out the steel wheel and then pop the flint out of there, and I'd hold on to that flint so I could use it for my Zippo. Oh, here's another one. One of those other cool designs here. Yeah, it's a squirrel. And also nuts. Yeah, I think Bic is the bigger one in the US just because they figured out how to make them cheap. Coinbase ad mocks the modern Britain. Oh no. Oh, these are the circle ones. Oh, see, yours are refillable and reusable. Yes, the round ones. That's the ones I was thinking. Yeah, these are not refillable. These are disposable. And when I knew that I would be going through so many of them, I just couldn't bring myself to keep throwing them in the trash. It's like I go through at least one lighter like a month because I'm a smoker, and I keep them in my pocket. And they tend to die a lot faster in my pocket. But I'm one of those people, aka the pyro, who likes to have a lighter everywhere I'm at. So I've got a pocket lighter, I've got a rolling tray lighter, I've got a pop box lighter, I've got a car lighter. You know what I mean? I've got a lighter specifically for that area so that I don't have to go looking for one in the event that I don't have one. So typically I have a lighter. It's usually a very rare occasion you find me without a lighter. I've always had this fascination with fire. is it a live thing? Is it not a live thing? It needs oxygen just like all other live things. It needs sustenance or fuel to keep it operating. The more fuel you give, the bigger it will grow. It kind of meets a lot of the standard definition that we have for things that are alive. Oh, I like that. Must be hot today there. There's like some knuckle stuff going on there. Are you just usually shirtless when you're home? I guess that would be a yes, you are. Because if it's the studio was hot with all the PCs running, right? It was always warmer in the room with the computer. Always. Except for in school. When I was in school and we did PC applications and typewriting, which was an actual course in my high school days. I doubt they even have that now. It's probably something else. The most ornery teacher ever taught it. But it was the only room in the entire building where you can count on it being air conditioned. It would be like 35 Celsius outside, and in that room it would be 25 Celsius. Even with the computers running, and he had like 30 computers in there, and we're not talking little tiny PCs either. We're talking tower computers with projection monitors. We're talking technology from schools in 2004 when I went to school there. But yeah, it was the only room in the whole building that was ever properly air conditioned. And he was such an ornery teacher. He would lock his doors when he left. He wouldn't allow anybody to hang out there in between classes or anything. He was just generally grumpy. Just a generally grumpy guy. And the whole point of the class was typing speed. And to use things like Microsoft Office. He was just the ornery computer teacher. The worst teacher in that high school was by far the calculus teacher. That was the lady who would snip people's headphones in the hallways with a pair of scissors. She'd take a hat off of somebody's head as they passed her in the hallway. She would physically restrain students. Now, I only had her for literally a week because I didn't want to do calculus. And I told my counselor, the guidance counselor person in the office, I said, I don't want to do calculus. I'm not a fan of that. So let's sign me up for 2 math classes. And if I don't like one of them, I'll just drop it. But if I like them both, I'll just keep them. And Yeah, I didn't like the teacher, I didn't like the class. And one day I was sitting in class and the teacher said, "Chris, are you going to open up your textbook?" And I said, "No." And then everybody in the class kind of like went, "Oh," you know? And she said, "Why's that? You're going to have a hard time learning this material if your textbook isn't open." And I said, "Because I'm not planning on being here past tomorrow." And she goes, "You can't drop this class. This is one of those classes, it's a requirement for graduation." I said, "No, no, no. I have two math classes. I can certainly drop this one." And everybody in the class was like, "Oh," to that again. And she's like, "Well, what other math class do you have?" And I said, "Well, it's finance and money." She goes, "No, you can't drop the higher class. You have to drop the lower class." I said, "You're wrong, and I will prove it to you. You wait for tomorrow." He goes, "Well, until then, open up your textbook and turn to page blah, blah, blah." And I said, "No, there is no point in me making the effort to learn any of this if I'm not going to be passed here tomorrow." And she goes, "All right, we'll see." I said, "Yes, we will." So 2 days later, after sitting in class doing nothing, keeping my textbook closed, and a similar conversation the previous day, I came in and I said, "Just like I told you, here's my slip to dismiss me from this class. Withdrawal passing." She was generally surprised. She had never seen that before. Yeah, she was kind of a bully. But there was school rules like no hats in the building, you couldn't wear headphones, that kind of thing. But she touched me one time when I had my hat on. I had just come in the building, I had my hat on, didn't realize I still had it on. Usually I follow the rules. And she touched me one time, grabbed me by the shoulder, and I almost hauled off on her. She grabbed me from behind while I was making my way down the hallway. And, I turned around with this holy moly, like ready to fight attitude. Because you never know. You got to be on your guard if somebody's going to be touching you. But I probably would have been more polite in that instance had she just addressed me or like blocked my path and said, "You're wearing a hat, take it off." But because she touched me and she tried to physically remove my hat, I said, "You're not my teacher, go fuck yourself." And I put my hat back on and continued down the hallway. I did fairly well in school. I was real close to not passing, not graduating, because of English. English 4, college prep. They wanted us to read all these books that after the first couple pages, I just wasn't interested. It didn't capture my attention, so I wouldn't read it. And then the teacher would give you these quizzes based on what you read, and she would intentionally research on the internet what questions were available, what, like there's a website out there called Spark Notes. There's a website out there called Pink Monkey. There's a website out there called Cliff Notes. And you can get pretty much everything you need to know about the book, anything that's important for the plot or the storyline or character development. You can get those from those websites. She would intentionally look through those websites and then create her exams to exclude any of that information. Like it would be minute details. You'd have a question on the quiz like, in chapter 34, what color was the watch that so and so was wearing? And it was like, if you didn't read it, there was only one mention of the watch ever one time. And you couldn't find that information on Spark Notes. So I was failing the class because she was making sure everybody read. In my junior year, there was a similar case going on where I didn't read many of the books. And I had gotten a D for one of the quarters. And the teacher's like, come on, Chris, come on. I know that you're familiar with this material. I know you can do better than this. What's going on? And I said, just for you, teach, I'm going to get an A next quarter. Sure enough, next quarter I got an A. And I was one of 2 people in the class who actually received an A. I was like, see, teach, I told you I could. I just didn't want to. The potential was always there. Huh, Annie? You falling asleep? Guarding that hedgehog? Yeah? You guarding that hedgehog falling asleep? Little side eyes? Yeah? Annie had an itchy ear this morning. We helped scratch it. Huh, girly? Why does it not want to zoom out? There we go. I'm gonna get some of these other poppers. What are you doing, Ladybug? Ladybug. She's looking at me. She's not moving though. You see a little eyeball going. Ladybug. Ladybug. Here she is. Oh, and Zoo's up doing some stretches. Yeah, good stretch, girly. You gonna get that hedgehog? Indeed. Of course she would. Of course she would. Let me go get the carafe started with the coffee. And get this stuff out of the way so it doesn't get trucked. Water in there. There's no water. Is brewing. Let's get these peanut butters going, huh? Look at them all. They're just patiently waiting. What a bunch of turds. Zuma's gonna be first. Annie, you are not first because you're a bully. No, you're not first, Annie, because you're a bully. We know if you get a taste that you'll be all up in the doggo's face. Gonna come over here, Annie? Alright, we got some peanut butter for the zoo. Back up a little bit. Back up just a little bit, girly. Oh, that explains why she was so dark. I think you got it all, girly. It's gonna be Letty's turn. It's gonna be Letty's turn. Come here, Annie. Come here, Annie. Go on, go over there. Step into the limelight, Lettybug. There you go, Lettybug. Oh, no, Zooey, get out of there. You had yours. Oh, num nums. We got some on your nose. Did you get the back? You did. There you go. Here comes a bully. It's already gone though, huh? Look at her. She's like, I know what's coming. I'm ready. Ready for it. Oh, yeah. Am I teasing you? Am I teasing you? Arr, arr. No, Zoo, you can't help. Come on, Zoo. Go on. Go, Zoo. Annie, back up. You can't eat the spoon. She's still going to try to eat it like it's going to be stolen any minute now. Even though we can clearly see in the background that the doggos have vacated to the couch. You can't eat the spoon. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. You got it all. It's gone. Empty spoon. Empty spoon. All gone. Yeah, we got another scorcher out today. I wanted to go back to the park. I'm not sure if that's feasible though. It's supposed to be like 89, 90 degrees today, according to this. It's 84 right now. So, a little bit hot to be going out to the park today. More canyon fires over in California. Oh no. Let's see. Saturday's supposed to be 86. Sunday's 88. Monday's 93. Tuesday's 94. Wednesday's 91. And then Thursday is 80. Holy moly. 39% chance of rain on Thursday. Hey, today's a full moon. Heaven forbid the neighbors make any noise. The neighbor dogs are barking. I don't know if you guys can hear that. No, no, that's who it is. Get back inside. There it is. So, I'm thinking that I want to implement a point system inside Botrix. What the hell? The screen just shut off. Here we go. All right. Took me a second to get Botrix to log in. All right. So now we have a chat engagement competition leaderboard. I haven't figured out what the prize is going to be yet. If and when things would be redeemable, and when. But I will be adding up points for people. We'll call a win 1 point. What I'm referring to is those crowns next to you guys' names. Now, Botrix is not eligible because Botrix is not a real person, so I ignore his status in the leaderboard. If you go to the top left, right under my name, you're going to see a crown. And you can see where you are on the experience points for the chat engagement. So we've got Seldir and ASN tied up for first place. Now, in the recent past, I was using the chat engagement competition to determine who gets to pick a song and then we play it live. But I'm trying to make sure that I follow all the YouTube rules now, which are, some of them are kind of ridiculous, so I can't really use that anymore as the winning prize. I really wanted to be outside today, but it's so hot, and it looks like it's going to be so hot for the coming week also. So I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out something. This coffee's so hot, I can't even drink it right now. It reminds me, I'm gonna turn that coffee machine off. I got used to drinking coffee at room temperature. I don't think we have any cream or sugar either, so I can't even. Yeah, I don't see any cream or sugar. Almond milk? That's just a giant waste. Well, maybe we'll try this. Apparently it's a 0-calorie sweetener comparable to Splenda. Yeah, this is not for you. It's not for you. Get out of here. You're not getting any of this. Even vegans hate almond milk. Serving suggestion is 2 teaspoons. There should be 275 servings per container. Not the way I drink sugar. Oh, this has got to be Splenda. So here's something I don't understand here. How is it that if you look on the chart here, it's telling us 1 teaspoon equals 1 teaspoon, 1 cup equals 1 cup, 1 tablespoon equals 1 tablespoon. But 4 tablespoons equals 50 grams, half a cup equals 100 grams, and 1 cup equals 200 grams. How is it that 1 tablespoon equals 1 tablespoon, but 1 cup doesn't equal 1 cup? It's like fluffy too. It's not even heavy. It's all right, but I'm not putting it in my coffee. It's got that splendid taste to it. Not a fan. The Jahir. Hello, Jahir.
It is now officially noon. The chat engagement competition has ended and lunch has begun.
Chat engagement competition has ended and lunch has begun. See who's the winner. Tied up. That means we gotta flip a coin, right? Flip a coin, see who won. What do I do with my coin? There it is. Oh, right. Hello from Paris, France. Hello. Yes, we are. We are in the United States. East Coast, United States. Northeast coast. We're like maybe 100 miles from Canada. I'm gonna freak this dog out here in a sec. Ready? I think that's the blue side. Yep, that's the Angels. You lost, Aaron. We know you were gonna pick tails. Or we know you were gonna pick heads. Right, tails never fails, so tails has got to be the good side. Yes. We've got Letty over here, Zuma over here, and then this one's Annie. If you use their names with an exclamation in front of it, yep, Space Nut's already ahead of me. Whoa! Oh, I almost fell down. I went to get up on this seat and I was supporting myself with the wrong side. All right, Seldar. I am putting you in the commands list. Currently have 1 point. And I will use the tags. And the points are going to go by wins. So 1 win for Seldar. And in order to access that, you would use the command score. It might take Botworks a few minutes because I just added it. There you go. So we're starting it that way as of today. Chat engagement competition. The winners are going to point. The point gets added to the leaderboard, and I'll figure out some way to recognize your win. If I had stickers or something like that, then I would send somebody a sticker or something. You know, maybe I'll stick with being able to pick a song, but it'll be like once a week or something like that. Instead of being every day, like once a week. I think I could get away with that. I know it's kind of against the YouTube rules to play copyright material, but I think I could get away with doing it once a week or once a month or once every 2 weeks. The other thing I've been throwing around as an idea for like top gifters, things like that, is recognizing them in my username. Hi, Chloe. Letty is hiding. If you scroll back just a little bit, you can see the story about him. Botworks put Annie, Zuma, and Letty in the chat there. It tells you a little story. But this one is Zuma. This one is Annie. And that one hiding is Letty. Letty likes to hide off camera. Huh, Annie? Letty likes to hide off camera. Annie's our drama queen. The husky in her is very, very strong. She's very dramatic. She's kind of a bully. Oh, that's cute. Is he a wiener dog? Wait, what kind of dog was Snoopy? He was a hound dog, wasn't he? Now I'm curious. I need to access the Google for this. Dog type Snoopy. He's a beagle. Apparently Snoopy is a beagle. Snoopy, the beloved cartoon dog from Peanuts comic strip, is a beagle. Created by Charles Schultz. First appeared in the strip in 1950. And for those of you who wanted to know, there's Snoopy, there's a beagle. Ooh, mini collie and Pomeranian. So like a little ankle biter? Or a medium sized? Oh, it's got to be a little ankle biter because the border collies Those are typically medium-sized dog, right? Now these are all supposed to be large breeds. Annie's breed, which is Husky Rottweiler, should be large, like 65 plus pounds. She's like 40 pounds, so she must have been the runt of her litter. And then Zuma, also a bully breed, Rottweiler boxer, large breed dogs. She's still fairly small for her size breed, only about 45, 50 pounds. And then Letty, she's Lab Pit Terrier. Her dad was a small dog, her mom was a medium-sized Labrador. So she ended up medium-sized, long hair. Her sister's about the same size, but her sister's all neck. Brandy is all neck. She's neck from the shoulders all the way to her nose. Ooh, we got the big old water slide set up, the 70-pound water slide. It's awesome. It's, let's see, 19 feet long. I think it's 12 or 14 feet wide, and it stands over 9 feet tall. Ah, cool, 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 cool. Well, hey, that's interesting. NASA's Perseverance rover captures Mars. It's clear as day, apparently. That's cool. Oh, they would. They've redacted a bunch of images from that particular image. Yeah, they redacted what the rover looks like. But what a cool shot of Mars. Let's see if I can get it on here in landscape view so you can actually see it. It's a pretty cool picture. But you can see they redacted the rover out of the picture. But that looks like the Arizona desert, doesn't it? Is that just me, or does that look like the Arizona desert to y'all? Your name is engraved on that rover. Oh, and they've got another one here that's differently enhanced. Same photo, but they gave it a blue sky, which is pretty cool. I find that the most interesting part of this photograph is this spot right here. What's going on there? What is happening in that photo right there? It looks like a splat. Very, very, very circular. But it's very different than any other color that's on this planet. It's mostly red, right? Same thing going on with this one. What's up with this splat? What hit the planet and splatted like that? It was definitely something very round, containing something, but we don't know what. Maybe ice? I don't know what that is. It's an odd shape to occur naturally. Like it looks like somebody threw a paintball. And a paintball splatter. I imagine this camera angle was taken with a 3D camera based on how rounded everything looks and how the ends kind of look like they would match up with each other. So I think it was using a 3D camera to do that image. Not 3D, 360. That's what I meant, 360 camera. I've used 360 cameras before, and I like them, but I found that it kind of makes things look like a fisheye. Anything that's not in direct focus. So how is your name engraved on it? I know that they tried to put JPL on the treads, and then the treads were rejected, so they put JPL in Morse code on the treads, and it wasn't caught until it was already too late to change them. So now there's a rover going around leaving JPL, 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 and Morse code everywhere. Names on Mars by NASA? Is that a thing? NASA finds multi-billion-year-old coral on Mars. Interesting. Curiosity rover sent back pictures that looks like coral. That's cool. Anyway, names on Mars. Nearly 11 million names of Earthlings are on Mars Perseverance. The view from NASA's Mars Perseverance rover zooms in on 3 silicon chips bearing the names of nearly 11 million people. How can you fit 11 million people on a tiny little chip? Here's where it's showing. Right over there. Right there, a silicone chip. We're no longer accepting signups for Send Your Name to Mars. Engineers use Jet Propulsion Laboratory stenciled the names into the chips using electron beam. The machine they used allows the writing to be very, very tiny features, less than 1 micron, much less than the width of a human hair. So they used, each name is like a micron, so you wouldn't be able to see the name with the naked eye, but it's there. I was wondering how they did that. It had to be extremely tiny. And here it is. There's the chip right there. Let me see if I can scroll that up. There's the chip with the names on it from JPL and NASA. It just looks like a fun design. Obviously not a lot of detail there, but yeah, that's what the name list looks like. Little silicon chip. These guys here, that one. Yeah, it's not the design, guys. Not the design. Right, Earth from the Milky Way is this image, but the names are actually on this chip. This tiny little. Oops. See, it shows you there's 10.9 million people. So that's the explanation of it there. And then it's this tiny little square chip with these Phillips head screws. So it just looks like little squares. So did they put like your full name down, like your government name? Is that what they did when they asked you to sign up for that? And then also, did you have to donate? Is it like naming a star? Putting my name on a rover that travels to Mars would be pretty cool. I think that would be more cool than naming a star that I'd never be able to locate. Ah, that's cool. You could just sign up and they put your names on it. So when an alien race discovers that and deciphers all the name on there, they'll know who to come after. You'll be held personally responsible by the alien race. I gotta stop the Google search before I go down a rabbit hole. Just rabbit hole about reservation. Whoa. Proposed spacecraft could carry up to 2,400 people on its one-way trip to the nearest star system. No, thank you. No, thank you. I think I'll skip that one. One-way trip to Alpha Centauri. No, thanks. Space is infinite, so the opportunity it offers above Space Development Corporation is creating a future fleet of commercial platforms. They want to build various space stations. Early space technology company. Above aims to build space platforms hardware by leveraging proven spaceflight commercial off the shelf. Interesting. It would have to be a generational. But then, so if your pool of genetics is only coming from 2,400 people, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a better pool than, Adam and Eve. Because that's only a pool of two genetic codes, right? And we know that the more we mix similar genetic codes, the more messed up they get in the on Flying City. How long would it take to get to Alpha Centauri? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You would need to have more like 10K people as a genetic source to avoid genetic mutations through birth. Let's see. A light year is a unit of distance, not time. Okay. It represents, because it would take, depending on how fast you travel, it represents the distant light travels in an Earth year. Specifically, it's approximately 5.88 trillion miles or 9.46 trillion kilometers. For example, light from the star Proxima Centauri, which is 4.246 light years away, takes over 4 years to reach us. So it's a measure of distance. And depending on how fast you're able to travel, would determine how far away or how long that would take. Okay, so that's a better description there. Light year is distance light travels in 1 year. Light zips through interstellar space at 186,000 miles per second, or 300,000 kilometers per second. It will take 17,500 years to reach 1 light year at its current speed of 17 kilometers per second, 3,800 miles per hour. Yeah, you'd have to travel at 3,800 miles per hour. And it would still take you 4 years to get there. And that's assuming you can start at full speed and stop from full speed to zero, right? So assuming that you would want to ramp up your speed and then also slow down before you got there, light speed travel at 38,000 miles per hour that's not feasible, right? You can't just start at 3,800 miles per hour, 38,000 miles per hour. And you can't just stop dead from 38,000 miles per hour. We know just by travel in vehicles that stopping from 60 miles per hour takes about 10 seconds. And the faster you're going, the longer it takes to come to a complete stop. Stopping from, say, 20 miles an hour takes about a second and a half. The faster you go, the harder it is to stop, especially with no wind resistance, no gravity. You would have to use thrusters. So I think by the time you got to 38,000 miles an hour, by the time you got to that speed, it would already, without destroying internal organs through G-forces, it would be like 4 years before you got to that speed, and it would take you 4 or 5 years to slow down. Hypothetically, provided that you could actually get to 38,000 miles an hour, which, hypothetically is possible in space because there is no wind resistance. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. So unless the gravitational pull changes the direction of the ship or something comes in the way and stops it, it'll stay at that speed. Right. You also have to consider the mass of the object. The bigger the object and the more mass that the object has, the slower it is to slow down. So for something that small, it'd be like taking the city of I don't know, Manhattan, right? Not all 5 boroughs, just Manhattan. and trying to speed it up 38,000 miles per hour and then slow it down to zero from that. Like, I imagine, just hypothetically, it could take 30 years just to get up to speed and take another 30 or 40 years just to slow down. But once you got up to terminal speed, it would take you like a year to get there. Fair enough. So, tell me what you think about this theory that I've been throwing around here, right? So, we know that the moon is leaving our atmosphere at like a couple centimeters per year. Do you think that has anything to do with us taking mass from the Earth and moving it into space? Because we know mass is what determines centripetal force. The higher the mass, the larger the force. And the gravity on Earth is determined by how much mass we have to pull the moon in. But if we keep sending materials into space that come from Earth, even on a microscopic level, we're decreasing the mass of Earth, right? Therefore, decreasing the gravitational pull on the moon. Do you think there's a correlation between these two here? I think there is. You know, if we send stuff to space, we should bring stuff back from space also with the equivalent mass. But of course, people this day and age, they don't care because it won't happen in their lifetime. Those are the kind of thoughts that keep me up at night, you know, breaking things down to a macro level and seeing how they affect things on a large scale. I could totally have my own channel. I think I would name it Idiots in Space. Right? That'd be a good name for it. Idiots in Space. Or Idiots and Space, and I would be the idiot. Because I don't know much about the space stuff, but I'm willing to look it up. But I don't want to compete with the bigger names out there. I don't want to compete with people like the Angry Astronaut, and you know, there's a few other people out there that have got a following. I think if I made a channel about space, it wouldn't go very far. But hey, at least that's a safe subject to talk about, right? Much more lighthearted than some of the other subjects that we brought up here. You missed the live stream yesterday, Aaron. You missed it. We went to the park and I streamed on my phone because for some reason I didn't realize that setting my live stream to unlisted would also make it unlisted in the live feed. But it's telling me here on this screenshot that yesterday it was a peak concurrent of 43 viewers. Now that's wrong, because I specifically remember it being a peak concurrent of 50 viewers. But I was averaging like 27 to 37 viewers. That live stream was only an hour because it took me an hour to figure out that I was unlisted, and that's why I couldn't see my own live stream showing up on the feed. Holy moly, I didn't realize I had that many images on this phone. In my recent folder, just the recent folder, look, 5,119, 823 videos. It's like 6,000 different things there. It's crazy. Five thousand 942, 34, 45, 920, 37, 32, 29, 29, 37, 8, 145, 18, 72, 8, 343, 17, 1, 4, 963, 498, 23, 4, 4, 2, 1, 7, 10, 36, 74, 157, 1190. I got a lot of stuff on this phone. Got like 10,000 photos. Oh, yeah. You were up all night working. I don't doubt it. You probably saw it was going well, and you're like, he's got this. It's all good. There's people in there chatting. Like for 1 hour to have 114 chats is pretty darn good. Like I'm impressed with the way yesterday went, and I want to keep doing that, but it's just too hot out today. I couldn't do it. I couldn't put the doggos through that kind of torture. You know, either sitting in the car or, you know, Zuma was just like so curious about what was happening at the park and all the different smells that she was like foaming at the nose. And every time I tried to get her to drink some water, she was like resisting it. But there is places nearby, I think that would be shaded, that we might actually be able to go to. Let's see. Okay, so there's a community walking and fitness trail that's 2 miles long, right here in town. Pets are permitted, there are no fees, and it's got a crushed gravel and stone surface. So I'm going to be experimenting going there and taking Zooey on a walk with you guys. It looks to be pretty active. You know, something like that would be what you'd be looking at. You did. You certainly did tell me. I found this one through maintrailfinder.com. And by the looks of it, it's fairly shaded. So that might be the goal for tomorrow to get there. I got to get myself up at a decent time, though. I just got to say, yep, it's time to get up, and I just got to go do it. Otherwise, I won't. But yes, YouTube certainly did reward us for having a lot more greenery in the photo. They're remaking the Atari 2600. That's cool. What? Wow. Wow. That's underhanded. So there's a lobster festival up here in Maine, and apparently this one food truck refused to not they refused to not sell lobster. And so the owner had to pay the festival $8 for every lobster roll he sold, or a large obstruction would be placed in front of his truck. Apparently, his truck got placed behind a giant bounce house and next to the toilets because he refused to take it off of his menu, claiming that lobster is a big portion of their menu and a large portion of what they sell. That's an underhanded tactic. Ooh. August full sturgeon moon gives a special 2-night performance this weekend. Ooh, the sturgeon moon will officially reach its full moon phase at 3:55 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, August 9th, which will create opportunities for those in North America to see the full moon rise twice in successive evenings. The best time to see the full moon rise is just after sunset, typically on the day it officially becomes full. Not only is the full moon 100% illuminated then, but it also appears in the eastern sky when it's just dark enough for the moon to be easily visible while the landscape in front of it is still bathed in the light of dusk. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know if I'll be up at that hour. We can try to make it. I've been wanting to do a sunrise stream where I get up early enough and watch the sunrise with you guys on live stream, because at that time the park is typically empty. The park is closed from dusk to dawn. You're supposed to vacate any public park within 30 minutes after dark. So I think it'd be really cool to do that maybe tomorrow. It would be like 4 o'clock in the morning, so 9 a.m. your time. That's a reasonable hour for you. Not too early, not too late. What time do you normally get up in the morning? Like 8 a.m.? After going to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning? Let's see here. Maybe we can actually do something interesting. Scanning to get full scoop. I've been throwing around this idea of calling pet food manufacturers. Sorry. I'm not seeing an option here for customer support on the bag of the product. I was thinking I might call them. But it doesn't look like there's any information on this bag that I could use to get a hold of them. Interesting. Maria, hello. ¿Qué pasa? Or ¿qué tal? Right? Okay. If you're looking to get sponsored by Purina Dog Food, here's how to proceed. Purina has an online system for submitting requests. They no longer accept requests by phone, email, fax, or mail. Start by taking the eligibility quiz to ensure your organization qualifies. If eligible, you'll be invited to submit an application through their online system. They require a minimum 6-month lead time for event sponsorships. They primarily consider requests from 501c3 tax exempt pet welfare organizations within the United States, especially those near company locations. They may occasionally sponsor large pet related events outside these areas if the resources allow. Proposals must focus on cats and/or dogs and be non-invasive and be completed within 2 years. Specific requirements and application forms can be found on their website. For breeders and owners of multiple dogs, consider joining our Purina Pro Club. Oh, that's for people who have 5 or more. It's recommended to carefully review the eligibility requirements and guidelines on the Purina website before contacting them to ensure your request aligns with their sponsorship priorities. Oh, that's cool. Nonprofit partnerships and donations provide much needed support for pets and the people who love them in the communities where we live and work. From donating Purina pet food and cat litter to providing grants in the wake of natural disaster, we're here to help. Our commitment to making complete, balanced, and high quality pet care products helps support pets around the communities in need. We are proud to have donated our pet food, treats, and litter to more than 900 pet welfare organizations across the continental U.S. So they're more likely to accept sponsorship if you're within 50 miles of a manufacturing plant. Mrs. Space Nut, hello. Yep, we'll have to revisit it when the charity is up and running, for sure. Melanie, hello, Melanie. I had to go back. Let's see what they say about Kong. All right, Kong Cares Program, nonprofit partnership. Oh, our Kong Care programs have ended. If you are a shelter or rescue and would like to stay up to date on what we're doing with our shelter partners, we encourage you to sign up to be a Kong believer by clicking here. Become a Kong believer. Let's see. We love partnering with pet professionals. If you're a trainer, groomer, shelter, or other type of pet expert, we'd love to welcome you into our Believers program. And then, of course, they've got a let's get started category here where you sign up using your name, address, state, region, all that stuff. And then you have to agree to receive communications and allow them to store your personal info. So that's interesting. So once the LLC is off the ground and the nonprofit becomes a thing, I think I would be more eligible for these things. Let me get this coffee out of the way before it ends up on the floor.
Lunch hour is officially over. If you're here on lunch break, it's time to go back to work.
There you go. If you're here on lunch break, it's time to go back to work. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've got some work to do today outside. Got to do a dump run. Suzanne, thank you for subscribing. That command actually only works every 30 minutes. So if the command didn't pop up, it's because it's been too soon since they had peanut butter last. Already thought about that, and I put a caveat in there to make sure. Everything in moderation, right? If you start having too much of one thing, you'll get sick. Yep. If it hadn't come up, it'd because it was back in, it would be within 30 minutes. Because that command can only be used every 30 minutes. I guess since these other two aren't really feeling it, we'll just have Annie come on over here to the front. We'll give yours first, Annykins. Annie, criminy, holy moly. So insistent. You can't eat the spoon. Trying to eat the spoon every time. Yep. That's why I made sure that that command couldn't be accessed more than once every 30 minutes. And also why I'm not giving them more than like a teaspoon at a time. But it is this is what we're giving them right now. Stop, Annie. You can't have that. Stop it. It's the no. Annie, back up, turd. Trying to. I'll whoop your ass. Stop it. Yeah, no sugar added, no salt added, gluten-free, non-GMO. This is about as natural as it gets. He goes down. Yeah. It's all good stuff to them, but I try not to give them too much salt or sugar. It's not really part of their natural diet. So. Yes, we care so much about these pups. I even make them share when there's leftovers on a plate or something. Well, I'll go on. She licked it clean. All right, Ladybug, your turn. Step up to the limelight, girly. Ladybug. Ladybug. You gonna step up to the limelight? Come on, Ladybug. Here you go, girly. You gotta make Zuma move. And tell her, say, back up, Zoo. Back up, Zoo. It's Ladybug's turn. Zuma, back up. Back up. There you go. Here you go, Ladybug. The most gentle of the eaters. Whatever noise they heard, Letty was not fazed by it. She's like, no, I've got all my focus on this peanut butter. I don't need to worry about that noise. A little crumble? Yeah, get it. You want to help finish the spoon, Annie? You bully? There's nothing left on it. Nothing left on it. Nothing to get. You're very disappointed. And on that note, I think that will be the end here. Because if I don't go take care of this trash, I'm going to hear about it. So we'll have Botrix throw these two commands out. Love you guys. You're awesome. Say goodbye, Annie. You say goodbye to your fans. Annie. You say bye to your fans? Bye. How about you, Letty? You want to say bye to your fans? Huh? You say bye to your fans? Letty's like, no, I'm not interested. How about you, Zoo? You want to come over here and say bye to your fans? You come over here? Come on, Zoo. Come around. You say bye to your fans? Say bye. We'll see you tomorrow. Love you. It's going to be a hot one. I'm hoping I enjoy it too. See you tomorrow, same time, same place.